Deep inside the pressure-cooked hallways of WWE Smackdown, a storm was brewing behind the curtain. The atmosphere was heavy, electric, and charged with the kind of tension that only comes when family, pride, and power are on the brink of a violent collision. At the heart of that storm was Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, a man who wasn't just cutting a promo. He was unleashing raw, unfiltered rage that seemed to shake the very foundations of the arena. His voice was a thunderclap, his message was war, and every word he spoke was dripping with the pain of betrayal and the hunger for vengeance. But just when the WWE Universe thought they'd seen the peak of chaos, The Miz made his shocking return. Striding into the scene with arrogant swagger and a smirk that screamed trouble, The Miz didn't just interrupt. He detonated the situation with a single slap across Fatu's face, a move so audacious, so reckless, that it froze the entire locker room in place. That slap wasn't just contact. It was the spark that could ignite a wildfire capable of tearing WWE apart from the inside out. And while the world reeled from that confrontation, the true aftershock came once SmackDown was off the air, when Roman Reigns, the tribal chief himself, took to social media with a chilling message aimed directly at The Miz. A warning that didn't just sound like a threat, it felt like a prophecy. Roman's words dripped with intent, with fury, with ancestral power, and it became instantly clear that what had happened backstage was no mere segment. It was the beginning of something massive. Let's rewind and break it all down from the top, because this storyline has layers, and every twist is more dangerous than the last. It was July 25, 2025, and WWE SmackDown was live from Cleveland, Ohio. The road to SummerSlam was already molten hot, but that night turned the temperature up to nuclear. The bloodline, a once dominant force forged under Roman Reigns' iron rule, was splintered. With Roman stepping back, Solo Sikoa had taken command of a new version of the bloodline, recruiting brutal warriors like J.C. Mateo, Tama Tonga, and Tanga Loa to form his inner circle known as the MFTs. But Jacob Fatu, once brought into the faction by Solo himself, had become its most dangerous threat. Fatu wasn't just a former United States champion. He was a wrecking machine with a legacy and a past that made every moment with him feel real, raw, and unpredictable. His MLW reign had lasted an astonishing 819 days, and his rise in WWE had been meteoric. But it was his bitter feud with Solo Sikoa that had redefined him. After Solo snatched the U.S. title from him at Night of Champions with help from the newly formed MFTs, Fatu broke away, turning babyface and setting his sights on retribution. Adam Pearce then lit the fuse further by announcing the match for SummerSlam: Fatu vs. Sikoa inside a steel cage for the U.S. title. The battleground was locked. The war was set. But then came SmackDown on July 25th, and everything flipped upside down. Backstage, Fatu delivered one of the most passionate promos in recent memory. It wasn't just about wrestling. It was about freedom. About legacy. About redemption. He screamed into the camera that he wouldn't be framed, wouldn't be silenced, and wouldn't be dragged back into a life he fought to escape. He accused Solo of trying to bury him, both professionally and personally. Fatu's words hit like a hammer. "You think you can frame me? You think I'm going back to jail? I am the Samoan werewolf, and I will dog-walk you inside that cage." This wasn't just entertainment. It was an emotional purge. And then came The Miz. 6 weeks away filming American Gladiators, the A-lister returned in his hometown and interrupted Fatu's moment like a hurricane crashing through glass. Mocking Fatu, belittling his struggle, and challenging him to a match that same night, The Miz did the unthinkable. He slapped Jacob Fatu across the face. That sound echoed. It wasn't just a slap, it was a declaration of war. Fatu's response was chilling. He didn't retaliate. He smiled. 3 simple words followed: "Come on with it." And that smile, that wasn't peace. That was the look of a predator who'd just found his prey. The Miz, in true Hollywood fashion, tried to play the aggressor. He blamed Fatu for his absence from WWE programming, claiming Fatu's chaos backstage and his rising profile pushed The Miz off the spotlight. But he didn't just whine, he took action. He reportedly stormed into General Manager Nick Aldis' office and demanded a match. That match was set for later that night. And The Miz walked in like a showman. But he didn't walk out the same. Fatu destroyed him in the ring. A brutal combination of speed, power, and ferocity overwhelmed The Miz, ending with a moonsault and a decisive pin. But it didn't end there. The MFTs, J.C. Mateo, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa, stormed the ring post-match and launched a savage beatdown on Fatu. It was personal. It was ugly. Jimmy USO tried to intervene but was overpowered. This wasn't just an attack. It was a statement. Sikoa wanted Fatu broken before SummerSlam. He wanted him humiliated. But then came the most unexpected moment of the night. After Smackdown went off the air, Roman Reigns broke his silence. On X, formerly Twitter, Roman Reigns delivered a thunderous message aimed at The Miz. "The Miz, you crossed a line tonight. Slapping my blood. You are playing a dangerous game. Watch your back. #acknowledge me." That single post sent the internet into a frenzy. Reigns rarely speaks on social media, but when he does, it's never hollow. This wasn't just about ego. It was about family. And that message wasn't just a tweet. It was a warning. The Miz had done something far worse than slap Jacob Fatu. He had insulted the Anoa'i legacy, challenged the unwritten rules of the tribal hierarchy, and provoked the one man in WWE you never want to anger. The tribal chief may no longer hold the title, but he still holds the power. His voice echoes louder than any authority figure. And his allegiance? It now appears to lie with Jacob Fatu. The implications are staggering. Is Roman Reigns stepping back into the chaos to protect Fatu? Is this his move to reclaim control over a bloodline that has spiraled under Solo's command? Some fans believe this is the first sign of a reconciliation between Reigns and Fatu, a new chapter in the Anoa'i legacy where the true blood rises against imposters. Others believe it's simply about pride, about respect. Either way, The Miz has found himself at the center of a tribal firestorm that could reshape WWE. Let's not forget who The Miz is, a multi-time champion, a master manipulator, and a man who has made a career out of surviving impossible odds. But this time, the danger feels different. This isn't just about showbiz antics or verbal sparring. This is about blood. About betrayal. About war. With SummerSlam looming and the steel cage match between Fatu and Sikoa ready to explode, the stakes have never been higher. Will Roman Reigns appear? Will he help Fatu destroy Solo's bloodline and rebuild the empire his way? Or will new enemies emerge from the shadows? Will The Miz retaliate or vanish into the storm he foolishly provoked? One thing is clear, this feud has become the nucleus of WWE's chaos. The slap was just the start. The warning from Roman? That's the spark. And the fire? It's spreading fast. Stay tuned as we continue to track every beat, every swerve, every betrayal right here on Wrestling Pro News. Hit that subscribe button, keep those notifications on, and join us as we follow this war all the